Good morning from Copenhagen. We are coming up to the end of the school year. Hooray! And we're also coming up to vacation time, going on holiday. I've already started looking at a few items for our holidays. I've got my husband's cap and my daughter's hat. I don't look good in hats, but hey, can't have everything. So I thought this was a really good time maybe to bring up the subject of how to cope with your routines or how to tweak your routines. Should we be doing routines when it is holiday time, whether you are traveling or maybe you've got family staying with you. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to you. As always, I don't have the answer to everything. I just try and share with you what has worked for me or what hasn't worked for me, because I've been doing Flylady system for 10, 11, 12 years. I've been coming up for 12 years, and I made an awful lot of mistakes in the past, but you know what, it doesn't matter. I've learned from the mistakes, and I just want to be your cheerleader, and hopefully I can give you some tips to avoid you making the same mistakes as I made. Now, when we're talking about our Flylady routines, you know what it is. It's getting dressed to shoes in the morning and just keeping the house running. All we're doing with our routines, it's not more work, our routines. Our routines give us less work because all we're doing is doing the things that we have to do. We're just putting them together so that we save time, energy and money. If you know the lean process from manufacturing, from car manufacturing, lean is in manufacturing and Flylady is for your life and your home. So we're not, by doing our routines, we're making less work for ourselves, and who doesn't want less work? So, often when we came up to the end of the school term, I would be, shoulders can go down now, you can kind of chill with the kids. But I discovered the hard way that by having no routines in place, I had my routines in place before the holidays, before vacation, but then I would kind of let everything go and think, well, now I deserve a break. And that really didn't work for me, because what happened was things kept on piling up and I felt more and more stressed because I didn't know, what I was meant to be doing, or I saw what I was meant to be doing and I wasn't doing it. And actually, it really didn't feel good. And I've realized many years later that the routines give me less work and less stress. So, and I'm not saying that I do exactly the same routine during vacation or during the holidays that I do, during the working week, Monday to Friday, but I keep up with routines. So I think maybe it's easiest if I just give you a few examples. And this also applies to the weekends, because I know also for myself in the beginning, I would be very good Monday to Friday, when everybody's out of the house and going to school and going to work. And then at the weekend, we kind of tend to let slide a bit and say, well, we've got to chill together as a family. But then you have this backlog that comes Monday, and, nothing actually gets done at the weekend because you don't get out and have a nice day with the family because nobody's stressed, you don't know what's for dinner, and you're all kind of scrambling around. So the main thing is just, as always, to be consistent. You've really got to pare your routine down to what works for you. And remember, you can go to the flylady.net website and it'll give you examples of routines. But, as Flylady herself says, it took her months to come up with her routine, and that's her routine. That's a suggestion. You do not need to be doing everything on the Flylady website or what comes in the reminders and the Flylady mails. You have to tweak it to yourself. You have to, it's a great system, but your family is different from my family, from the Flylady's family. We're all different, and my routines have changed over the years as well. And I don't know if you did it with us, but I did a little challenge. Let me see, was it a month ago or 2 months ago? I can't remember. Anyway, I'll put a link up there. And I walked and talked you through 7 days of being consistent, because consistency is the key, of being consistent with routines and showing you which routine to focus on if you are working outside the home, or which routine to focus on if you're working from home or if you're retired. And I also talked about, you know, how to pair things together. And anyway, there's 7 or 8 videos in that series. Go and have a look. If you're still having trouble with your basic Flylady routines, go and have a look at that. Hopefully that will be helpful to you. So at the weekend, my routine is basically the same. The timing is a bit different, and sometimes the order of my routines are a bit different, but I'm consistent and I get the things done. For example, I get up in the morning around 6:15 in the morning, Monday to Friday. At the weekend, I don't get up at that time. I try and stay in bed a bit longer, though. The only problem is with getting older, you know, I wake up anyway. But, you know, at the weekend, I get out of bed a bit later, but when I get out of bed, I just go through my normal routine. You know, I put on a load of laundry. I don't, usually Monday, Friday, then I jump in the shower and get dressed and shoes. At the weekend, I do it a different way. I normally put on the laundry, have breakfast, sometimes sit outside with my cup of coffee, and then I have my shirt and get dressed. Sometimes I do it that way. But the main thing is I get, you know, put the laundry on, have breakfast, I'm dressed to shoes, run the dishwasher, empty the dishwasher. More on that. I'll talk about that in a wee minute. So my routines are starting at a different time in the day, and it's in a different order, but it's the main things that I need to get done, because those are the things that for me are important. Getting the laundry done, you know, checking what's for dinner. You know, I look at my menu plan. Okay, we're having that. You know, pull something out of the freezer if I need to do that. So I'm still being consistent with my routines. They're slightly adjusted, but I'm still being consistent. And that way I avoid, there's just no stress. Then I can enjoy the rest of my Saturday, the rest of my Sunday, knowing that everything is taken care of. So that's my first big tip, is just be consistent with your routines, but don't worry too much about the timing of them. As I said also in that 7-day challenge with the routines, if you have small kids, or if you are chronically ill, don't worry about the timing of them. Just focus on, you know, having them written down in your control journal and checking them off. It doesn't matter what time of day they get done. You know, when you've got small kids or somebody is ill suddenly during the night, it doesn't matter if you don't get it done by a certain time. Don't worry about that too much. You know, give yourself a break. Just make sure that you're actually getting it done. Now, then we come to vacation time, and I got better with, you know, keeping going with routines at the weekend, and that really felt good. But then it would come to the summer holidays, and I would say, oh, well, you know, the kids are at home and they don't need to get out of bed, and we don't have to have breakfast at a certain time. That was another little hurdle for me I had to get over. And I realised that we weren't, you know, I had all these ideas in my head that we were going to go to the beach and we were going to go to the museum and do all these fun things. And these things didn't happen because we were getting out of bed late and just kind of hanging around and grabbing breakfast, you know, at different times. And I didn't know what was for lunch. And I thought, and then we would end up, you know, going to McDonald's. And there's nothing wrong with going to McDonald's, but it was kind of beginning to kind of collapse again, and I felt the stress coming, and then of course you don't have an appetite because you're not eating at regular hours. And so I just went back to a very easy schedule, you know, an easy routine, and just having planned, you know, ahead. You know, I didn't need to cook every day during the holidays, but we'd actually plan, well, you know, we'll maybe go to McDonald's at lunchtime, and we'll have soup and sandwiches for dinner. Or another day would maybe take a picnic lunch to the beach, and, you know, eat something else at home. And that was really useful, because just by looking ahead, by doing my usual routine, you know, the night before, what are we doing? Are we going to the beach tomorrow? Are we going to town? Do we need sunglasses? Do we need sun cream? Do we need to fill up water bottles, make a packed lunch to take to the beach? It just makes life so much easier. And you know what, I don't know why we put off doing those things, because it's so much easier to plan than just to stick our heads in the sand and think, oh, it'll all work out, because it doesn't all work out, especially when you've got little ones or other people in your family who you are responsible for. So also now when we go on vacation, you know, even when we're not here in the house having vacation, if we're actually, you know, even if we go to, you know, France or Spain for our holidays, I still have a little mini routine. And for those fly babies who have been doing Flylady for many years, you'll know you know, you cannot go anywhere. You know, I find myself, you know, out at the airport, using the bathrooms at the airport and kind of, you know, giving the sink a wipe when I'm finished, you know, taking one of the paper towels and wiping it down. It just stays with you, these things. But when we go on holiday, it's the same thing, like you know, at night, you know, I don't have to take my outfit out of the wardrobe in the holiday home or in the caravan or wherever we're staying. But I have an idea, okay, tomorrow we're going to go sightseeing, so I need to put on, you know, lace-up shoes, you know, instead of flip-flops, and oh, have we got the guidebooks, and do we need water bottles, and do we need, you know, money and zipped purse. And so I'm just kind of looking ahead to what's happening the next day. It's just the same as when you're at home, you know, when you've got your things at the launch pad. You know, check that the kids have got their things ready, and also what are we going to do for dinner tomorrow, where are we eating, because it's the same, you know, we'd be on holiday and we would just kind of go with the flow, but that kind of backfired, and you know, you're eating at odd times, and then the restaurant that you had planned to go to in the evening, it's all booked up, and then so just keep on with your routines, just modify them. You know, you don't need to be doing a full-blown routine, but just modify them and do the things that bring you peace. You know, for me, it's just knowing what we're having for dinner and keeping the laundry going. That's the things for me. And the same if you are visiting, you know, if you're visiting family, try and keep to your little routines and, you know, lend a hand where you are. Maybe you can swish and swipe the bathroom if they don't think that's too weird, or you can help to do the laundry, hang up the laundry or fold laundry. You know, if you're staying with family, you know, just pitch in and lend a hand. Yeah, so anyway, how long? Oh gosh, I've been speaking for 12 minutes. I don't want to be talking too long today. It's Friday, yes, which is clean out your purse. And I'll just show you, hold on a wee minute. I was down for my sea swim earlier, and I've already tidied out my handbag, but this is my kind of winter swimming bag, and I'm just changing over to my summer swimming bag. So, you know, I need to take everything out of this one, including, you know, old hankies and little extra towels and my inhaler, and that goes into my summer swimming bag, you know, I've just hung up my wet towel and put in a dry towel for tomorrow, along with my flip-flops, you know, and I have some lotion in there and lotions and potions. So, you know, go ahead and tidy out. If you've got a school bag, you know, when the kids come home from school today, get them to tidy out their bags, because, you know, there's always stuff lying at the bottom, you know, coins and half-eaten packed lunches and all those things. I'm changing over from winter to summer swimming bag. And I need to get on with finishing my morning routine, because I don't know if you can see behind me. Do you see that? I talked about it last week. Our dishwasher has been on the blink. It finally gave up the ghost, so I caved in, and on anti-procrastination day on Wednesday, I got in touch with the manufacturer, and we're getting a service call out. So I'm back to hand washing dishes, and I'm going to dry those up. And I washed them before I went off for my sea swim this morning, and now I'm back home and I'm going to dry them up. It'll only take me 5 minutes and that'll be my morning routine complete. So it doesn't really matter which order you do, and I need to finish off my morning routine. But actually I quite enjoy washing up the dishes because I haven't washed, everything goes in the dishwasher these days. But whenever I wash up the dishes, it reminds me of when my mum and my auntie, my auntie and uncle would come to our house for dinner every 3rd or 4th week, and then we would go to their house. It's my courtesy aunt and uncle. I love having courtesy aunts and uncles. They're always the best. And when we had finished with dinner, my dad and my uncle Derek, they would go into the front room. We had something which was called a front room. That was like the room that was always kept nice, and that's where we had the stereo, and my dad and Uncle Derek would listen to the latest James Last album. I don't know if you know James Last, he's a German band leader. My dad loved James Last. In fact, when Dad died at the church service, actually played James Last at the beginning. Anyway, I won't get all teary about that. Anyway, Dad and Uncle Derek, they would listen to the latest, record by James Last, and my mum and my Auntie Beth, they would do the washing up. And I always used to go and help them because, my mum would wash the dishes and my Auntie Beth would dry up, and I would be putting things away. And standing listening to my mum and Auntie Beth, that's when I always used to hear all the gossip. So I quite enjoy washing up and drying up in a way because it just makes me think of those old days. And you know what, that's really when they got the best gossip. Anyway, I won't go on and on and on. I'm going to do up my dishes. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And remember, keep going with those routines, even if it's the weekend. It will just stop you from having that build-up of chaos, and the backlog Monday morning. And remember, the routines are going to save you time. Routines are just the things that we've got to do anyway, but by putting them, by scheduling them and getting them done, it leaves us so much more time for all the fun things, and that's what we want to do. I won't see you over the weekend. I've told you before, I post Monday to Friday and I stay off the internet the weekend. I don't want to have my head in the internet the whole weekend, and we're coming up for vacation time, and I'm going to be away on holiday. So I'm going to be reducing my, I've been posting Monday to Friday in my spare time. It's taking up quite a lot of my spare time, and I love doing it, but I'm going over to a kind of summer schedule myself. So I'll probably only be posting Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, something like that. I'll work it out. I'm not leaving you completely out, but I need to watch my time and enjoy the summer and the sunshine, and I hope you will too, wherever you are in the world. And I also had a little idea, because I'm going to be away on vacation, and I don't normally film things in advance. I like to keep it fresh and whatever kind of pops up in my mind, because a lot of the time what I'm going through, you're probably going through as well, or I hope so. And I just make these videos as kind of something pops into my head. But I was thinking, when I'm away on vacation, I might kind of record a little thing before I go that I can post when I'm away. And because I did something with the ladies that I'm mentoring. I did this about 2 years ago in Flylady Premium, and we had a virtual staycation. And what it was is we had a little kind of retreat where it was like a little camp thing, and we did our mission for the day, and we bought some nice food and snacks, and we did a little pamper mission every day. And it was just a really nice way to kind of focus on ourselves. And it didn't take much time, just 15 minutes every day, 15 minutes doing a mission and 15 minutes looking after ourselves. And I thought that was a fun thing to do, so I might do that. Anyway, who knows what's around the corner. So have a wonderful weekend. Signing off from nice and sunny Copenhagen right now. We've had tons of rain, but at least it seems to have washed away the pollen. And I shall see you on Monday morning. Okay, bye for now. Signing off from Copenhagen. Live long and prosper.